Stop me if you've heard this one before. Everything is getting more expensive, and your paycheck just isn't keeping up. You're not alone. 65% of Americans say inflation is their number one financial worry in 2025. In fact, 84% of people saw higher grocery bills just in the last 3 months. And it's not just prices, it's debt. As a country, we now owe over $1.3 trillion on our credit card. That's an all-time high, which breaks down to about $11,000 in credit card debt per household. Yikes. Think about that. An average $11,000 balance on a card charging 20% interest. No wonder it feels like you're running in place financially. And Gen Z, those in their early 20s like me, well, we're in a tough spot too. Believe it or not, Gen Z is carrying an average personal debt of $94,000. Yes, you heard that right, 94,000, which is way more than even what millennials or Gen X owe on average. It's like we're starting the game on hard mode. So here's the big question. With inflation eating your lunch and debt weighing you down, how do you even get ahead? It might feel impossible, but stick with me. Because today, I'm not just breaking down why things are so rough, I'm giving you 2 to 3 practical money hacks you can use right now to survive this chaos and actually build wealth long term. By the end of this video, you'll have a game plan to protect your wallet no matter what the economy throws at you. And I've saved the most effective tip for last. It's a framework that completely changed how I manage my own money. Let's get into it. Before we begin, the content in this video is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. All information presented is general in nature and does not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Viewers should consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any financial decisions. With that being said, let's dive in. Alright, first things first, we need to find where your money is really going. Think of it as a money audit. I know. Budgeting sounds as fun as a root canal. But hear me out. When everything costs more, from gas to groceries, every dollar matters. In fact, a recent study found 44% of people say inflation is the top obstacle keeping them from financial freedom, with lack of savings coming in second. The best way to fight both these problems? A budget that works for you. Start by tracking 1 month of your expenses. You might discover you're spending, say, $200 a month on food deliveries without realizing it. I may have learned that the hard way myself. Once you see the numbers, it's like turning on a light. You can spot at least a few things to cut or tweak. Maybe it's subscriptions you forgot about, or that daily Uber Eats habit. Now, build a simple budget. One popular framework is the 5-30-20 rule. 50% of your take-home pay for needs, rent, groceries, 30% for wants, fun stuff, 20% for savings or debt payoff. Adjust the percentages if you need, but the key is, give every dollar a job. If inflation is hiking your grocery bill, maybe dial back the wants temporarily. Cook at home more, shop smart with coupons or generics. And if you're thinking, I tried budgeting, it never works, I get it. The trick is to make it realistic. Budget for some fun, budget for the unexpected, because something always comes up. Car repair, friend's wedding, whatever. In fact, 47% of people's credit card debt comes from emergencies or unexpected expenses. So build a little cushion in your plan. When you budget realistically, you're not depriving yourself, you're protecting yourself. Here's your challenge. Tonight, list out every expense from last month. Identify one money leak you can plug. Even if it frees up $50 a month, that's $50 you can put to better use. Speaking of which, if inflation is a public enemy number one, high interest debt is a close number two. Remember that $1.3 trillion in credit card debt we mentioned? It didn't appear out of nowhere. Americans added $74 billion to their credit card balances just last year. Why? Because when prices rise and paychecks don't, people turn to plastic to fill the gap. The problem is, those credit cards fight back with interest. The average card is charging over 20% interest right now, the highest in decades. That means if you only make minimum payments, that $11,000 balance could rack up thousands more in interest. It's a trap, and it keeps millions stuck. In fact, 2/3 of cardholders in debt say it's forced them to delay big financial goals. Things like saving for emergencies or buying a car. Debt literally puts your life on pause. So how do we break out? Attack that debt. Make it your mission to knock out any balance charging crazy interest. Start with what's called the avalanche method. List all your debts and focus on the one with the highest interest rate first, usually the credit card. Throw any extra cash at it while paying minimums on the rest. Once it's gone, move on to the next highest. This way, you save the most on interest. Alternatively, there's the snowball method. Pay off the smallest balance first to get a quick win and motivation, then tackle the next. Honestly, use whichever one keeps you pumped to keep going. A few hacks. See if you can negotiate a lower rate or get a 0% balance transfer offer to buy yourself time. Just avoid racking up more debt and channel any fun money. Tax refund, side gig income, straight into killing that balance. Every dollar you pay off now is like earning a 20% return risk-free because it saves you that much in interest. Where else are you getting 20%? Exactly. Now you might say, I barely have any extra money. I can't possibly pay off that much. Even $20 or $50 above the minimum payment helps. It chips away at that beast and shortens the debt sentence. Plus, as you free up money from tips number one's budget audit, you can redirect it here. 64% of Americans are prioritizing debt repayment over saving right now. And for good reason. A dollar saved on interest is a dollar earned. The sooner you're debt free, the sooner you can build real wealth instead of lining the bank's pockets. Imagine life with zero credit card payments, the freedom to actually use your money for you. That brings us to our final and most powerful tip. So you've trimmed the fat from your budget and started slaying that debt dragon. Awesome. Now it's time to go offense. Pay yourself. What do I mean? Basically, treat your savings and investments like must-pay bills. This is how you build an armor against whatever the economy does next. Remember how lack of savings was America's #2 obstacle to financial freedom? We're going to show you how to fix that. Here's the move. As soon as you get your first paycheck, automatically whisk a chunk into savings or investments before you can touch it. Even if it's a small chunk. Maybe it's 10% of your pay, maybe just $50, whatever you can manage. The key is consistency. Set up an automatic transfer to a separate high-yield savings account. Those are paying like 4 to 5% these days, thanks to high interest rates. Finally, a silver lining. This will build your emergency fund. Aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. That way, when life throws a curveball, job loss, medical bill, your car's transmission falls out, you won't have to fall back on those credit cards and spiral into debt again. Next, invest in your future. Once your emergency stash is growing, start investing a bit each month. You don't need thousands to begin. With today's apps, you can start with $20. Index funds, Roth IRA, your 401k at work, pick something simple and stock market based. Why? Historically, the stock market's returns beat inflation over the long run. And remember how a lot of young people feel like buying a house is impossible right now? Over half non-homeowners think they'll never afford a home. If that's you, don't panic. You can still build wealth without immediately buying a home. In fact, some experts say the path to long-term wealth might lean more on the stock market than the housing market. So investing in stocks or index funds can set you up big time, even if you're renting for a while. Maybe you're wondering, what's the point of saving or investing $50? It's so small. Trust me, it adds up. It's less about the amount today and more about building the habit. As you pay off debt and your income grows, you'll increase that amount. But you have to start now. Your future self is begging you. Picture yourself 10 years from now, opening an investment account statement showing your money doubled, all because you consistently invested when it felt insignificant. That's a great feeling. Paying yourself first also flips the script mentally. Instead of scrambling to save what's left, usually nothing, you're prioritizing you and your goals. It's empowering. It builds confidence. Even if the news tomorrow says recession incoming or whatever, you know you've got your emergency funds and investments in play. You've created a buffer between you and the chaos. So to recap our game plan. 1. Get on a budget and track your spending, so you free up cash and regain control. 2. Use that cash to obliterate high-interest debt, because it's a guaranteed win for your finances. 3. Pay yourself first by automating savings and investing, so your money starts working for you. These are the same fundamentals that experts recommend for getting out of tough times and building wealth long-term. No gimmicks, just proven steps. Remember, the economy will always have ups and downs. Prices will rise, politicians will bicker, headlines will freak you out, but you have a game plan. You don't have to be a victim of the chaos. In fact, by sticking to these habits, you can benefit from opportunities, like investing at good prices when others are panicking. You're playing the long game here. If you found even one of these tips helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe for guides to financial freedom. I've got a lot more up my sleeve to help you take charge of your money. And hey, don't go anywhere just yet. If you're ready to level up, check out the next video right here. I'll show you 5 money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. You might be making one of them without realizing it. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. See you over there.